Part 2. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 11. Chapter 11. You got the wrong one. The next day, Yuan and Wen Huan came to the old lady's house to say hello. They were all smiling, and the atmosphere was very peaceful. When the sisters were getting along, Wen Huan was cold to Wen Yu, but he got along with the sisters, talking endlessly, and laughing constantly. Wen Jiao was originally gentle to Wen and was a little jealous of Wen Huan. At this moment, she was busy making noises. Scattered small side drums were beating left and right, very happily. Wen Yu did not move forward, and was indifferent to Wen Jiao's instigation. So she became a marginalized person, but she didn't mind and just sat there openly. Sister Hui couldn't stand it, so she came over to have a few laughs with her. After saying hello, Wen Yu returned to his room, unlike in the past when he went to his father's courtyard diligently. Hongdu felt very sorry for her and did not mention the matter. He only stayed with her obediently and did some chores, but secretly complained in his heart that the master was unfair to the girl. Hong Xin was also doing things beside her, but in fact her mind was already far away. The wife hadn't sent anyone to look for her yet. She was distracted and careless in her work, and there was a bang-bang sound. Wen Yu and Hongdu both turned to look at her. Hong Xin was a little embarrassed and changed the subject. "Girl, why don't you go to the master and his wife's room?" Wen Yu asked, "What's wrong?" "Oh. I mean, you will pass by before." "Is it strange that I went before but not now?" Wen Yu replied with an indifferent attitude and continued to work. No, Hong Xin didn't dare to say more. Suddenly, the girl next to Yuan appeared outside the door, smiling brightly. "Miss, the master and his wife are inviting you." Hong Do's eyes lit up. Master, after all, he remembered the girl. Wen Yu shook her head at Hongdu. She couldn't always have extravagant hopes. She would be sad or even get into trouble. I still ordered red apricots and went out. When Wen Yu entered the house, the family was sitting around a round table, talking and laughing. The atmosphere was so good that no one even noticed her coming in. Wen Yu stood there quietly, looking at them. 2. Such a warm scene, adding myself is really superfluous. After they had finished, Yuan saw her. She scolded the girls angrily. "The eldest lady is here, why didn't you announce it? Come and sit down quickly, Jin'er, give up your seat to your eldest sister." The little boy stood up obediently and said, "Big sister," it was very polite. Wen Yui, who was older than him, also stood up and shouted, "Big sister." Wen Yu nodded and smiled. "Father, madam." He came over, bowed, and sat down. Wen Huan did not stand up, but smiled and said, "Sister, we have been waiting for you for a long time. We haven't seen you for more than 2 years, don't you miss Daddy? I thought you would come back with father and mother to talk. You started instigating me before I could even sit down." Wen Yu smiled and said, "After returning from a long journey, my daughter thought that her father and wife would have a good rest." Wen Qian listened to her address, madam, with a cold face. Yuan smiled and said, "It's not that busy on the way back this time. We could have arrived in the afternoon before, but your father spent an extra night in Lu County. His good friend Mr. Lu happened to come back from the capital to visit relatives. There he got together with him." When you didn't look at his father's cold face, he just smiled and listened to his wife's words, looking very polite. Wen Huan's eyes suddenly flashed. "Yes. Our family went to visit the Lu family. The fish cooked by the Lu family's cook is so delicious. Moreover, Sister Lu is such a nice person, she is really a first-class lady. I'm very happy to have met such a good handkerchief friend before I even arrived in Beijing." Uncle Lu said that if he could spare time, he would come to his eldest brother's wedding. If he came, I would introduce Sister Lu to her eldest sister. With Wen Qian's intelligence, How could he not understand what Wen Huan meant? But he didn't take it seriously and kept observing Wen Yu secretly. When I saw her, her appropriate smile remained unchanged, and no emotion could be seen. When he came back in previous years, she had already been close to him, trying to please him without saying anything, and even gave him a lot of money that he had never used. This time I saw him, he looked much more generous, maybe he was an adult. The second brother said she is over 15. Thinking about Wen Huan's birthday, we have to prepare for it for a long time in advance every time. There are many explanations, and they are different every year. Even if I had official business outside at the time, I would still find a way to celebrate her. The same is his daughter. He didn't like this feeling of being indebted, so he said decisively, Huan, take out the things for your sister. He went through the motions and asked her to leave quickly. Dad, Wen Huan looked unhappy and pouted, when you come back, you will only have sister in your eyes. The gifts are ready. They are indispensable. Can't your daughter talk to her eldest sister first? Don't hurry. Wen Qian laughed and said, You have a lot of things to do today. You have been away from your grandmother all year round, so you have to spend a lot of time with her. Yes, Daddy. Eldest sister, when you come back this time, father and mother will give you leave it to me to prepare the gifts for the sisters. It made me so nervous. I have been busy choosing them myself for a long time. I am afraid that the sisters will not be satisfied with the things I selected. She was proud. My heart is precious, how can we not be dissatisfied, Wen Yu said sincerely. Wen Huan smiled, turned around and took out a package and gave it to Wen Yu. Sisters, this is it. Take it back and take a good look. If you don't like it, give it to your sister and don't tell anyone else, just tell her quietly. La. My sister is so humble. For so many years, my sister has been nurtured by her father and taught by my wife herself. Her vision, taste, and way of doing things are of course first class. How could my sister not like it? It's hard to scratch her heart, so now I want to open it and take a look. When you started to open the small bag. Hey, Wen Huan quickly pressed Wen Yu's hand, take it back and look at it. I just took a sneak peek. When you gently took away Wen Huan's hand. I hope that the gifts I received this time will be different from those of my sisters. The gifts I received before were all the same as those of my sisters. Every gift I received was the same as those of my sisters. After my father left, I was teased by them, saying that my father treated his own daughter just like his niece. My sister felt so sad. As Wen Yu spoke, his hands moved quickly. The bundle had already been opened, and the contents inside were about to be revealed. Wen Huan became anxious and stepped forward to it. Wen Yu. Oh, big sister, there are some things inside that are not suitable for father to see. Her eyes stood up and her tone became serious. How could it be? Wen Yu looked at Wen Huan strangely. Sister, why are you so anxious? Take it back and read it. Wen Huan had a tough attitude. She had never experienced an emergency before, so she was a little panicked and pressed Wen Yu's hand in an exaggerated manner. Seeing this scene, Mrsun was shocked. Could it be that her daughter had done something small? He quickly came to the rescue. Yes, Sister Yu, take it back to your room and take a look. Someone, please take the packages in the box and send them to each room according to the names on them. Ha! Sister, the more mysterious you are, the stronger my sister's curiosity will be. She can't wait for a moment longer. After Wen Yu finished speaking, he shook Wen Huan's hand vigorously. Ouch, Wen Huan felt pain. Wen Qian was furious. Wen Yu, what are you doing? Father, the daughter didn't do anything. She just wanted to see the gift from her father and sister. The baggage was opened, and a bunch of messy things were displayed in front of my eyes. Wen Huan ignored the pain in his hand, blushed, and bit his lip nervously. When Yu and she saw those things, he felt a little stupid. She never thought that her daughter would behave like this. I never expected that that girl would have to open it in front of her husband. Looking at her husband quickly. Wen Qian couldn't believe it when he saw the gifts on the table, a few hairpins that didn't even have boxes. They were neither gold nor silver, just red flowers with green leaves sewn in velvet, tied to a wooden hairpin. The one above was inserted into the heads of the village girls from poor families when he went to inspect the countryside. There are a few crumpled handkerchiefs, and, gone, that's all. He swallowed. Wen Yu was not anxious or annoyed, but with a hint of contempt. He first picked up the hairpin and said, "Oh, there is also a hairpin? Oh, this hairpin is really..." She looked like she couldn't say the words good-looking and precious, either. She thought awkwardly for a while, and then said kindly, "It's really special." She knew what her sister had given her this time. At this time in her last life, she had just experienced the pain of Hengdu's death and had not yet entered the Song family. When her father came back, she received a handful of toys like this. She went back and threw these things all over the floor, which was really heartbreaking. Now that she doesn't care anymore, she feels much more relaxed. Jade color fiber, holding a cricket on his head, smiling at Wen Qian's ridicule. Then pop and throw it on the table. Yuan Shi and Wen Huan feel like they are being thrown in their face. Wen Yu picked up the embroidered veil again. Thin grass green silk, embroidered with crude pink flowers. He glanced at it and put it down, then picked up one of the dark green handkerchiefs steadily. Among the pile of things, this handkerchief was the most valuable. It was produced by a famous local embroiderer. A piece of handkerchief cost 10 taels of silver, making it a quite affordable gift. "Give it to me." Wen Huan felt even more guilty and grabbed it. When Yu hid and opened it, in the middle of the veil, there was a hole cut by scissors. That time, Wen Huan falsely accused her, saying that she was dissatisfied with her father and deliberately damaged it. "Ah! Sister, this veil, why is it like this?" Wen Yu held the veil and asked Wen Huan doubtfully. Wen Huan didn't know what to do and turned red with embarrassment. Wen Qian can no longer show off his face no matter how much he has a city. Yuan stretched out his hand and snatched the handkerchief away. What's going on? It shouldn't be. These handkerchiefs are Master Wang's craftsmanship. How could they be broken?" Wen Yu smiled and said, "Haha, second sister, it seems that it was an inappropriate decision for my father and wife to leave the purchase of gifts to you." Yuan's face turned red, and she looked at Wen Huan intently. Huan, you got the wrong one. Is the vacation coming to an end for you guys? 3,000 words will be sent to you. Welcome to collect. Comment. End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 12. Chapter 12, Getting a slap in the face. Wen Huan is the proudest person. He would not give in to his younger brother in normal times, let alone face Wen Yu in front of him. She glared at Wen Yu fiercely, arrogant and tough, and her meaning was obvious. "Yes, I did that, what can you do to me?" Wen Yu ignored them and continued, "Of these handkerchiefs, only this one has holes cut out, and can barely be used. And these, I'm afraid they are those village women who, during their leisure time, I just do it to make a living. Oh, 5 big bucks is a lot." Seeing that Wen Huan refused to admit his mistake, Yuan could only turn to Wen Yu. "Sister Yu, your sister also has good intentions. These are some local specialties under your father's jurisdiction. If you think they are not valuable, look back, I looking for a few." Wen Yu smiled and ignored her, only looking at Wen Qian. "You." Wen Huan understood what Wen Yu meant. Did she want her father to make the decision for her? Oh, so she cried to Wen Qian first, "Dad, mother is right, this is your specialty. Also, this piece is broken, it must be the carelessness of the person who bought it. Sister, she doesn't understand clearly and talks about her daughter indiscriminately. What are you doing? Wen Qian became angry and got angry at she is your sister. Before we found out what was going on, you came up and accused her with this face. You are so kind education. When you looked at him quietly, her eyes were like 1,000-year-old well, without any ripples. I am not well educated, but have you ever educated me? Wen Huan has a shallow temperament, is stingy, and has a dark heart. You taught her, but what a good upbringing. Father. When you finished, and her eye circles suddenly turned red. My daughter has been looking forward to her father for many years. I heard that you have been promoted and that you are coming back. I don't know how happy I am. She said with a sincere and heartbroken gesture, you said you brought your daughter a gift, and she opened it with joy. But this is what happened, she pointed to the tatters on the table. You are the person closest to my daughter. My daughter is heartbroken and wronged. If you don't make the decision, it's because your daughter is uneducated. At this moment, Mrsun blushed even more and felt guilty. She couldn't help but secretly blame herself. She didn't know that her daughter had this intention and didn't check it in advance. You can bully when you suppress her, or even trap her, but this is not the way. Although he was anxious, he did not answer the question. Instead, he looked at his husband with a hint of embarrassment. There are no outsiders in this house, so the husband makes all the decisions for her. You are full of resentment when you come up, and you still want me to make the decision. I think you are neither old nor young, and you are unfilial and disloyal. As expected, the man slapped the table and became angry. Father, Wen Huan also became enlightened when he saw his mother's appearance. He knelt down directly and said, it's all my fault that my daughter didn't understand. What my sister wants is expensive jewelry. Let her choose, it's all my fault. Daddy, don't scold my sister. Don't blame her. She covered her face with her handkerchief, smiled sarcastically at Wen, and continued, also, I blame my daughter for being careless. After they finished shopping, my daughter didn't check it carefully. She was really careless. The things that Dad gave to her, my daughter didn't do a good job. She cried when she wanted to, and she didn't hesitate. When Qian looked at Wen Huan, who was kneeling and crying, she should obviously be his eldest daughter. As a result, she turned into a second daughter. Deep down, there is still such an unbearable life experience. What if the news is leaked? How will she deal with her life? For a moment, my heart was filled with guilt. It's all my fault that I didn't have the ability or courage to insist on what I wanted. He turned to his eldest daughter with a gloomy face. When you finished speaking excitedly, but his expression returned to calm and indifferent. As if it had nothing to do with her, watching the mother and daughter's performance, the two brothers watched nervously. It's okay, let them see it too. How did she become like this? Wen Qian pointed his slender finger at Wen, Huan gave you something with good intentions. You don't appreciate it, but you hurt her heart by saying these words. How could I, Wen Qian, have such an ignorant daughter like you? Wen thought to himself, this is exactly what he said in the previous life, then I, Wen Qian, will no longer have a daughter like you. Haha, it seems that he has never wanted to have a daughter like me. Father. When you looked at him with distant eyes, and the reverence in the past was gone. He just said the truth simply, the life that a father gives to his daughter is the greatest gift. Whether or not to give a gift, what kind of gift to give, the daughter can only be grateful and will not have any resentment. Now, what the daughter is saying is that Wen Huan did something wrong. She didn't even bother to call her sister and pointed at the rags on the table. Should such a gift be given only to my daughter, or should it also be given to other sisters? Wen Qian was immediately asked. If it is only given to the daughter, it means that Wen Huan has deep thoughts and is trying to instigate the relationship between father and daughter to break up. If it is given to other sisters, they are also such shabby children. My father has not returned to the house for 2 years, and he has been promoted to the capital. Who are you planning to do with this? Aren't you afraid of losing the face of our head? When you slightly raised his chin, straightened his body, and spoke righteously. The eldest daughter's style is very good. I didn't. You're talking nonsense. You wronged me. Wen Huan shouted before he could get up. Maybe she was too angry and anxious, and her voice was shrill and harsh. She glanced at her daughter quickly and sighed in her heart, this girl is not careful in doing things and handles things inappropriately. You look pretty good on weekdays, but why do you act like this when something happens? Fortunately, I discovered it under such circumstances. I still need to teach him. Father, Wen Huan said that this was a gift she personally selected. But just now, she said that she was not aware and allowed her subordinates to take advantage of the loophole. It is so inconsistent. Could it be that this is how she learned to follow her father? The momentum of Wen Yu's words made Wen Qian's heart beat and his mind also started to beat. Even if she didn't do it intentionally, she was deceived by others. She smiled coldly. Master Wang's handkerchief can be sold for up to 20 taels of silver. Wen Huan was so easily sold on a large purchase of silver taels. Is the person cheating because she is not serious about her work? Is it because the people around her are of bad character? No matter which one it is a bad reputation. Wen Qian was speechless. Wen Huan was dumbfounded when she saw how powerful Wen Yu was. Other than yelling, she didn't know how to respond. She wanted to stand up and fight her. She glanced at Yuanqi. Yuanqi shook his head slightly. Wen Huan had no choice but to cover her face and cry, "Dad," she actually said that to her daughter. Wen Qian's head was buzzing. He was not good at housekeeping matters. Now besides using his identity to suppress Wen Yu, he doesn't know what to do. However, this is what he disdains the most. Seeing this, Yuan had no choice but to solve the problem herself. She looked sad and changed the subject. Sister Yu, it is possible that Huan is careless and gullible when doing things for the first time. But how can you make her feel so embarrassed by your criticism? No matter what, she is your sister after all. Your attitude and words are too harsh. She glanced at her daughter complainingly and shook her head gently. I know, not long after your mother passed away, I married your father. You can't live with it? When you heard Yuan mention this, he turned his face and looked at her seriously for the first time. Your father has been away for many years and has not taken you with him. Without a parent, your life is not as good as that of other girls and you have suffered a lot. I admit all this. This is because I did not do things properly. Mother gave me. Why don't you apologize? As for the gift, I will organize another valuable supply for you to ensure your satisfaction. What do you think? When you almost laughed out loud, this is so true, they are in the same vein. Madam, if you marry my father, you only need my grandparents, my father, and the original family. Ha, it feels right? How can I, a younger generation, have the right to comment? At that time, I was still a little baby. What could I know? Furthermore, I have lived with my grandmother for so many years. The housekeeper is my second aunt again. Wen Yu's life is going well. It's not like what you said, I'm suffering and feeling wronged. I want to make this clear. This is to avoid being misunderstood by my grandmother and second aunt and hurting their hearts. This time, Mrsun was really embarrassed. Wen Yu smiled sarcastically again. As for these gifts, how could I not like the taste of my wife and sister? In 2 days, it will be my brother's wedding. Wen Yu will use these things at the wedding. When others ask, please don't deny me, my wife and sister. Father, please resign. After saying that, She was about to leave as soon as she copied the things. How dare you? Did I let you go? How could Wen Qian let her go like this? He was anxious. Since you don't like it, just let it go. No one is forcing you to have it. He lost his cool and shouted out calmly. Upon hearing Wen Yu, she stopped in her tracks, looked sad, looked up to the sky and sighed. Yes, she stared at the elegant man with her peripheral vision. If you don't want it, just be tough and don't reach out. If you reach out to take it, it seems like you have been wronged. It's more like someone else owes you something. This sentence seems to be ordinary, but it is inserted into the lungs of Wen Qian. His blood rushed to his head. He stood up, walked up in 2 steps, swung the ball round, and gave Wen Yu a big mouth. Alas, I was beaten. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 13. Chapter 13, Don't Stop It. Seeing her husband speak warmly, Yuan yelled out of control, huh. Wen Huan knelt on the ground and pretended to cry. He put down his hands and stood up excitedly. He grinned so widely that he almost laughed out loud. Wen Yu looked at his father steadily, then rolled his eyes, fell to the ground with a bang, and fainted. Wen Qian was already dumbfounded before he lowered his raised hand. He never thought that he would be so impulsive. Who is he? Intelligent, elegant, and determined. Have ability, style, and structure. What is his identity? He is the eldest son, his father, and the third-rank official of the imperial court who is about to take office. He will stand in front of the emperor early. How could you do something like beating someone? The one who beat him was his eldest daughter. Husband, Yuan's voice was dry. She was not as happy as Wen Huan. Things were out of control, which was not necessarily a good thing. Wen Huan didn't care about anything. Looking at Wen Yu, he wanted to go up and make up for himself. Yes, she should have been beaten a long time ago. Wen Qian regained consciousness and was sweating all over his back. If word of this gets out, what will others say? How will he use it when his father comes back and finds out? He didn't look to see what happened to Wen Yu on the ground. Instead, he pointed at the baggage that Wen Yu had left behind, and said with a cold face and a deep and hard voice, Wen Huan, is this the gift you bought? This is the first time that I have been called by my father by his first and last name. Wen Huan was stunned for a moment. She was immediately embarrassed and annoyed. Her face turned red and tears welled up. This time, she really cried. Yuan still said softly, Husband, it is true that Huan did not handle this matter properly. After a while, I will ask you carefully. If she is wrong, I will punish her severely. It's just that, don't you know that this girl cares about your favor the most and is even jealous of your younger brother? Wen Qian's expression remained unchanged, obviously not convinced. Yuan hurriedly walked over and raised Wen Yu. Sister Yu, get up. No matter what the reason is, your father should not take action. This is his fault. But he is your father after all. Be good and give it to your father. Let's save some face, okay? Everyone knows that it's not good for people to laugh at us. Come on, get up, let's talk properly. I pulled for a long time, but the ground did not move. Wen Qian was very confused. She fainted. It can't be broken, right? Go and call a doctor. Husband, we will call the doctor as soon as we get back. This. Yuan was still holding Wen Yu's arm, obviously not planning to go. What's the matter? Just watch her lying here like this, or carry her back to the room like this. Wen Qian got angry again. Her husband has never spoken to her like this. Yuan has been pampered for many years and has her own temper. She almost screamed, she is just pretending. Can't you tell? If she wants to lie down, let her lie down. Get up when you've had enough lying down. Call doctor, she is even more energetic. But she couldn't say it. When Huan added to her mother in dissatisfaction, Dad, you didn't use any force, how could you knock her out? She was just pretending. Okay, let's learn how to do that like a country woman who cried, fussed, and hanged herself. Pretend to be dead. Ah, she raised her chin and spoke softly with her eyes. The daughter he valued the most looked mean and bitter at the moment, and Wen Qingxin was even more confused. Why was she more like a country woman than Wen Yu? Their thoughts were a little confused, but more importantly they were impatient. Neither of them could handle such a trivial matter well, so they got into this trouble for nothing. I simply don't know what it means. Okay, stop talking, go call the doctor quickly, he said firmly. When Huan was dissatisfied and wanted to talk, Yuan pulled her and the two of them walked out. The two teenagers in the room kept watching, dumbfounded for a long time, and then followed out nervously. When Qian looked at the woman on the ground, eyes closed, describing her gracefully. Can't help but think of her mother. If you don't want it, just be tough and stop it, this is talking about him. At that time, he was deeply in love with Yuan Zijun, but he did not dare to tell his family because, it was difficult to do it. His marriage was arranged by his father. In this matter, my mother did not make any trouble with my father for some reason. Seeing that Chen was doing well in all aspects, she did not object anymore. His father arranged for him to meet Mrs. Chen. He secretly made a bad face to Mrs. Chen, looking extremely reluctant, just to let her retreat in the face of difficulties. Unexpectedly, that silly woman is usually surrounded by compliments and flattery. Seeing that the handsome man in front of her treated her differently, he nodded happily. He had no choice but to tell his mother that he didn't like it, but her mother didn't help him. What's more, even if she doesn't get along with the Chen family, she still can't marry a Jin, because my mother also has someone she likes. He is destined not to marry a Jin. Parental conflicts, filial piety, and the future of the Wen family are all weighed down by many mountains. I don't want to, but I have to marry Chen. It's a pity that I didn't have much leverage by marrying her. The Chen family was also implicated in the deposed crown prince. In the end, she ended up. The only blame is that I chose the wrong person. He can't even remember that woman's voice and smile now. The few times I came back before, this girl seemed a bit like her in her well-behaved and pleasing appearance. Over the years, his official career has been going smoothly. In life, I fall in love with Ajun. Ajun gave him children, took care of his life, and socialized with others. Everything was remarkable. He also gave her the greatest dignity, no concubines by his side. He resisted Wen Yu from the bottom of his heart. She represented his former helplessness. Now, look at her on the ground. Who is serving the eldest girl? He asked, raising his voice. Hong Xingqi walked in, only to find her girl lying on the ground. Girl. She was startled and took 2 steps there. Wen Qian snorted and she quickly knelt down. Go out and find someone to put her up on the roof. He pointed to the roof under the window. Hong Xin got up quickly and called a woman at the door. The two of them worked together to lift Wen Yu up. Hong Xin looked at it and saw that half of the girl's face was swollen. Ah! Sir, did the girl's face fall? Wen Qian looked at it with some guilt and found that it was indeed swollen. His face was as white as porcelain, with half of it red and swollen. I even regret my heavy hand. We haven't seen each other for more than 2 years. Is this the coming-of-age gift I gave her? I couldn't help but smile bitterly. Why are you so impulsive and unable to control your temper? He has very high requirements for himself. This time he comes to Beijing, which means he has stepped onto the steps to the top. I'm making steady progress step by step, and it's no problem to join the cabinet in the future. After years of hard study and years of running around, a great future beckoned to him. But today, such a gaffe. 15, he was thinking about it in his mind. Not long after, a doctor who was familiar with the mansion came. Seeing Wenyu who was unconscious, he was also a little surprised. He checked his pulse and pondered for a moment. I don't know what to say to a man. Dr. Gao, don't be cautious, just tell the truth. Girl, there is something wrong with the liver qi, gastrointestinal tract, and even the lung meridian. It seems that she has been thinking too deeply and is suffering from sadness. She is so young. This should not be the pulse pattern. It would not be a good thing to hear if this word got out. Oh, a few days ago it was her biological mother's Memorial Day. The old lady said that there was something wrong with her being sad when Chien compiled a reason. This is quite reasonable. Oh, that's right, at present, it's not difficult to take some medicine to treat her. However, the elders in the family need to pay more attention, and the sisters need to be more tolerant. She will get better faster. When Chien was a little embarrassed, then her fainting is. Anger attacks the heart, and lack of rest may cause fainting. Acupuncture can relieve the symptoms. However, there are differences between men and women, and acupuncture is inconvenient. Sir, don't worry, just observe. If you really can't wake up, let me tell you again, I will ask my fellow junior sister to come over, that's all. Actually, what I said is clear, there are accumulated losses, but it's nothing serious. Good. The doctor prescribed a prescription, and Wen Qian asked Hong Xin to follow him to get the medicine. Facing his daughter with her eyes closed, Wen Qian was also a little helpless. What should I do if I know she is faking it? He winked when he went out, and his men guarded the door from a distance. There was no one in the room, so Wen Qian whispered, "Okay. You don't have to pretend anymore. If anything happens, just get up and talk." End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 14. Chapter 14, high and low appear immediately. When you opened his eyes and sat up. When Qian looked at her red and swollen face, sighed secretly, put aside a little guilt, and sat at the table with a sullen face. I want my mother's dowry. When you stood up, sat down opposite him, and opened his mouth to say. What did you say? Wen Qian was shocked. He thought that when you would complain about his neglect and injustice for so many years, tell him about the grievances he suffered at home, ask how to punish Wen Huan, accuse Yuan, and offer compensation conditions, and even ask to go to Beijing with him. Unexpectedly, she would mention this. You heard that right, when you confirmed again after seeing his father's surprised expression. I am already 15 years old and am my mother's only child. I should be the one to receive her dowry. So, now, I have to accept my mother's dowry. Her tone. When Qian laughed sarcastically, I didn't expect you to, haha. Fortunately for her, she went around in such a circle. Wen said nothing and looked at his father silently. According to customary rules, men and women who have not gotten married and whose families have not been separated have no private property. Even if they are engaged, if your mother's dowry needs to be used, the Wen family must negotiate with the Chen family. Wen Qian looked at Wen Yu calmly and analyzed in his mind, could her change be caused by the coming of age ceremony? Wen Yu said nothing and looked back at him calmly. Your mother's dowry is her private property. But she has passed away, and the Wen family has the right to keep and supervise her dowry. As for you, we can wait until you get married. Since it is the mother's private property, her only daughter is responsible for keeping it, so it is legitimate. Moreover, I hold it in my hand, and the Wen family can also supervise it. When you said calmly. You, Wen Qian became angry again. Wen family? Look at her distant words, it seems as if they are really not a family. A little girl can be so difficult to deal with. I can't believe that I'm telling you all this here. Wen Qian felt like he was about to faint. Father doesn't have to be like this. This matter must be mentioned sooner or later, when you seem to be more rational than him, and, has father forgotten? At the beginning, my mother married a man who was as she wished. At this point, he smiled mockingly. A surge of anger rushed into Wen Qian's heart again, and he looked at Wen Yu with a sense of intimidation. You can't blame me for beating her, this is really hateful. When you disagreed, my grandfather was very happy. In addition to the dowry that the family should give to my mother and the private property of my grandparents, I also gave my mother 4 points. My uncle and aunt each got 3 points. The reason why my uncle and aunt didn't complain was because their brother-sister relationship. The mother died and she had no son. Ordinarily, part of the dowry should be returned to the Chen family. But my uncle loved me and kept asking for it. The Wen family won't accept this as their own, right? You bastard, how dare you speak like that? Wen Qian slapped the table. He could never imagine that he, who could talk eloquently in front of his bosses and colleagues, would be speechless in front of his daughter. He didn't know what to do except use his status as a pressure. This reminded him of the feelings his father made him feel when he was a child: pressure, depression, fear, and nowhere to escape. This is simply too bad. He said coldly, if your grandfather gives you more or less, that is the Chen family's business and has nothing to do with the Wen family. Besides, the Wen family also has some betrothal gifts. If your uncle has any ideas, let him ask. I want. Who knows if that uncle is still alive? Sky. He suddenly remembered that half a year ago, on the 80th birthday of the Empress Dowager, there was a very wide amnesty. Could it be? When you still said calmly, after many years, my father must have really forgotten it. The Chen family didn't keep any of the Wen family's betrothal gift, and my mother brought it back. Could it be that my uncle remembered it wrong? But, there was a pile of black and white writing on it. I saw it was really interesting. Your uncle is back. Wen Qian calmed down immediately. No wonder, she is so confident. It turns out that her uncle came back to support her. He's back. My uncle was demoted for many years, and when he encountered amnesty, he came back with his family. My uncle has been suffering in other places for many years. My cousins and cousins also suffered a lot, so, even if my uncle doesn't mention it, the daughter also wants to return part of her mother's original dowry to her uncle. Wen Qian ignored the sense of ownership in her tone, but secretly thought, why didn't his mother mention this? Doesn't she know? When you sneered in his heart, when my uncle came back from his previous life, he passed by Dingzhou and found out that his father was an official there, so he looked for him first. He wanted his father to help him settle down. The key is to apply for the school status of my sons. But I didn't want to. How could my father want my uncle to stand up? Now that you have the skills, can you look through old accounts from the past? Hence, he sincerely pointed out a blind way. The result was, my uncle's job failed, and my brother's studies failed. Finally, when she got a foothold in the Song family and was able to take care of her uncle fell ill and died after years of hard work, and her cousin was depressed because of the domineering and unreasonable wife he married, and accomplished nothing. That little cousin, with this the little gangster seems to have everything he needs to eat, drink, whore, and gamble. My eldest cousin, she was married out of town before she came back. She was angry with her mother-in-law and beaten by her husband. She is gone. My little cousin, later, with her help, she got married well. It's just that what will happen to her after I die, I really can't figure this out. After all, I still don't understand how I came back. In this life, she returned to this life on the day she was 15 years old. The next day, I wrote a letter and entrusted the most reliable local agency to intercept my uncle. Sure enough,
he was in Dingzhou, and when his uncle came to seek help from his father, he brought him back directly. She took the opportunity of going to her best friend's house to meet her. When the uncle, who was dressed in rags, aged and tired, saw his niece whom he had never met before, he was so excited that he could not speak. The two had a serious talk, and then her uncle's family took all her possessions and went to the capital to seek refuge with an adult named Mo. I know Lord Mo. In the previous life, she was an old friend of her maternal family whom she met in the capital after being helped up by Songshang. According to Lord Mo., her maternal ancestor had a favor with him. At that time, Mr. Mo had already achieved great success, but he still did not forget his old relationship. He even met her specifically to find out the news about his maternal family so that he could do some help. Unfortunately, my uncle had passed away by then. Although her cousin was well protected by her, he had lost his spirit and his future was already hopeless. Wen Qian suddenly had a very bad feeling, so he calmed down and said, "So that's it? In the past 2 years, I have been too busy to take care of things, and I have ignored this matter. What good news? Let's do this, give me your uncle's address and I can help him with his affairs. It would be more appropriate for me to negotiate with him about your mother's dowry. My uncle and my daughter have agreed that all the mother's property will be handed over to her. How to divide it will be discussed separately. My uncle personally wrote a letter to express that no matter what happens to his daughter, he will accept it and will not complain." Wen Qian was so angry that he even found a witness. She had done so many things behind my back. It seems that he came prepared. I was angry, but I couldn't help but take my own secret. The things Wen Yu and Wen Huan were arguing about were really not on the same level. As the saying goes, the high and the low show. The eldest daughter, is this the style of the eldest daughter? The Wen Huan that he loved and nurtured with all his heart, the vision and methods shown this time are really disappointing. Taking back his thoughts, there were still many things he couldn't figure out. Even if her uncle was instigating him behind his back, he knew that his mother had been neglecting Wen Yu for so many years. But her behavior just now was rational and calm, she knew the rules, and she was also brave. How can this be learned in a short time? This matter? Wen Qian's brain was indeed strong enough, and he calmed down immediately. At present, everything seems to be in trouble. After weighing the pros and cons, he decided to be cautious. That's all. Originally, I wasn't greedy for her. For now, let's not have any unnecessary arguments. He nodded and said in a business-like tone, "Bring me your uncle's letter. If you decide like this, I have nothing to say. I will discuss it with your grandmother first, and I will discuss it before leaving. I'll give you an answer. 2 or 3 collections every day, a few recommendation votes, and few people talking. Everything seems to be operated by a robot. Am I on a single player? Squeak, you stinky babies. I haven't received the contract message yet. If you still like it, please support me more. Whether it can be completed or not depends on the stinkers." End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 15. Chapter 15. The pattern needs to be bigger. Just now, Mr. Yuan took his children out. Send them back to their rooms first, and then ask their friends to ask for the doctor. The doctor came quickly. When he entered the room to see the patient, she watched from outside the hospital and did not follow him. After a while, when I saw the doctor leaving, I planned to go back and see what was going on. There was a confidant of her husband guarding the door. When he saw her coming, he shook his head slightly, meaning that he was not allowed in. Her heart sank slightly, and after thinking about it, she turned around and went to see her daughter first. Wen Huan was sitting in front of the window in a daze. Hitting the child will make her go smoothly. Good looks and high talents. Her father is elegant in appearance, smart and capable, and dotes on her in every possible way. Mother is elegant and gentle, has excellent communication skills, and has a lot of money. Although there is a sister above him who is the daughter of his father's first wife, and she is superior to him in terms of status, they have not been together since they were young, and his father never mentioned her. On weekdays, she feels like her family only consists of her parents and two younger brothers. Wenyu is just an irrelevant stranger. Every time I come back with my father, that eldest sister, oh, so petty, with a fake smile on her face, runs back and forth enthusiastically, giving her this and that. Daddy is not pretentious, but she has no eyebrows. A little annoying, but not too bothersome. Daddy has only one beloved daughter, himself. Later, I grew up. During social interactions, there were female companions who were jealous of her and would occasionally mention, her mother was filling in for a house and she was a stepdaughter. But she didn't care too much. Ever since I was born, I have had a sister above me. Even if I don't see her on weekdays, she is still there. Don't be called mediocre, they are just jealous of me. You just deliberately made trouble to disgust me. But, just last year. One time, my father was not at home. Someone came to my mother's family, and I don't know what she said. After they left, my mother was in a bad mood. She drank and got drunk. She was worried and crept out of her mother's window. As a result, she heard the conversation between her mother and Aunt Sue. Father and mother actually have such a past. She was so shocked that she couldn't open her mouth for a long time. Finally, I thought that my mother's original wife and her status as the eldest daughter were actually snatched away by Wenyu and her daughter, and that I had such a shameful life experience for nothing, and I felt afraid and hateful in my heart. Her parents have been pampering her. Although she has a very competitive temperament, she doesn't know much about conspiracy and doesn't know how to vent her hatred. After thinking about it for a long time, I finally took it upon myself to take advantage of this opportunity to give gifts to bully Wenyu. Then, use this as an opportunity to humiliate Wenyu and let her father and grandmother deal with her, or preferably, erase her existence. She became the legitimate eldest daughter. But I didn't expect. Wenyu is so shameless. He exposes her in public and can't even stop her. However, there are mistakes. So what if you expose it? Haven't you been beaten? There is no comparison between you and me. Here, as soon as the door opened, her mother came in. She thought of her father yelling at her sternly just now. Mom, when Huan felt aggrieved and tears fell down again. Huan. Msun sat down gently, as she always did. She was never in a hurry. If you have any ideas, please tell me about it. Mother. When Huan didn't dare to mention the past events she overheard, Mother, my daughter doesn't like Wenyu. My daughter hates her. Yuan she smiled but said nothing. Mom, you don't know that when my daughter goes out to socialize, Zhang Feng, Lucien Gwen and the others always talk in front of me. Especially, Zhao Qing said that her sister-in-law was born in a vacant house, so when discussing the marriage, my family was not happy. How bad they were. They said it in front of my daughter. Huan. Mrsun ruffled Wen Huan's hair. This daughter was carefully cultivated by her. She played the piano well and her poems always had wonderful lines. You are so outstanding. They always want to find something. I just want to belittle you to make myself feel better. You are an ignorant little girl, the world is so big. If you care about this, you will fall behind. But my daughter just can't get angry, Wen Huan sniffed, very unhappy. You. My mother told you, they do it on purpose. If you care about it, your mentality will be bad. This will become your weakness. And they will say it even more deliberately. Mom, these daughters know. But, no one pays attention to Wenyu at home, and her father doesn't like her. The Chen family is in decline again. Why can't we think of a way? She was a little surprised. Huan had thought a lot. But, daughter, you have to understand that everything should be done in moderation. When Huan raised his head and looked at his mother, Yuanqi said calmly, although she is known as the eldest daughter, who is she outside the family? Haven't you heard that your grandmother didn't even organize the 15-year-old adult ceremony? That's it? Ah. Since you don't pay much attention to her, why not just? The words kill her paused in his mouth, he hesitated, and then changed his words, just get her to live in the village, or let her become a monk. In that case, won't people talk about it at home? What good will it do to us to draw everyone's attention to this matter? But if she bears the title of eldest daughter, what good will it do to her daughter? Haha, she has been carrying the name of being a kin since she was a child. Everyone is indifferent to her and no one gossips. This time, we will not take her to Beijing. Your grandmother will not take her when she goes to Beijing in half a year. They will look for her here. I married her. There is nothing better than a wife who knows her husband. She understands her husband. When Huan didn't understand what was going on and said nothing. Isn't it nice to have a dowry left and never see each other again in this life? But if something happens to her, maybe someone will notice. Although your father's official career is going well, his opponents are also it's quite a lot, so I can't give anyone a clue. When Huan listened quietly, understanding that what her mother said made sense, but she felt dissatisfied. You see, you have outstanding talent and appearance, and there will be people who are jealous of you wherever you go. They will find something to belittle you. Your father is so outstanding, how come no one is looking for his shortcomings? The higher you go, the more you want. Just be careful. Similarly, when you reach a high place, you should pay attention to the big things that match your identity, and you may not be able to remember those old little things that have nothing to do with your life. In the future, if when Huan marries well and becomes Mrs. Jioming, will she even care about having an eldest sister in her hometown? Mom, my daughter understands now. When Huan understood. Huan, you did a very bad job this time. Yuan became serious. Mother, when Huan could not tolerate criticism from others. My mother has carefully trained you for many years. Your handwriting shouldn't be so small. Mother. When Huan said helplessly, her face turning red. Look at this, if it's done, what will you gain? If it's not done, what will you lose? You didn't even think about it in advance. Now, let her catch you. How embarrassing is it? When Huan's face turned redder and his head turned to the side. If her parents want to suppress her, they have nothing but filial piety. Isn't it boring? Yuan patted her daughter's hand. To be honest, after the battle just now, she was not in a good mood. If you don't like her, hate her, and want to deal with her, there are many ways. But no matter what, you can't let yourself get dirty. In fact, you should be extra nice to her, let her put down her guard, and give her the final blow. I'm afraid she won't know what's going on. When Huan looked at her mother with bright eyes. Yuan continued, I heard from your great-grandmother that those noble ladies in the capital are like this. They are used to hiding knives in their smiles and borrowing knives to kill people. This is not just a trivial matter with scarves and jewelry, but a matter of life and death. Next, before the killer, the other party didn't even take the slightest precaution. So, you just want to vent your anger and get yourself into trouble, right? When Huan's vision seemed to be opened for the first time and he nodded, my daughter understands. Mother, what happened this time is that my daughter is too stingy. Yet, every time you take a step, you will gain wisdom. Remember, your father's promotion gave us women steps. We have to move up. The pattern must be big. During this period, even if you are angry, if you get better, don't worry about the important things. When Huan nodded solemnly, Yuan walked out of her daughter's room and looked at the scenery in the yard, feeling a little dazed. For example, You know what you want. The reputation is gambled and the family relationship is harmed. In the end, the husband is successful, the husband and wife are harmonious, the children are outstanding, and there is no need to worry about gold and silver. How great would it be to socialize among the ladies of the capital soon? Otherwise, like her sister, her husband's future is limited and he must plan his days carefully. When Huan doesn't even look down on her daughter's proud clothes. She looked at the beautiful bracelet on her wrist and smiled softly. 2 updates, 2 updates. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 16. Chapter 16 reveals evil nature. After the matter was settled, Wen Yu stopped trying to get close to his father, stood up, bowed and left. Before the doctor came, Wen Qian picked up the tattered gifts with his own hands and put them on the table. Wen Yu didn't even glance at the corner of his eyes, and left with a half-red face. Wen Qian sat there, looking at her back, feeling a sense of depression that he had not experienced in many years. Hong Xing followed Wen Yu with mixed emotions. Her face changed, but she didn't dare to say anything. The girl has been gone for a long time. Hongdu paced back and forth uneasily at the entrance of the courtyard. Why aren't you back yet? Her pretty little eyebrows knitted together. Suddenly he heard the sound of footsteps and happily walked out the door. At a glance, he saw the red mark of a slap on Wen Yu's face. Ah! Girl, this is... Hongdu's beautiful eyes widened in disbelief. It's okay, Wen Yu comforted in a low voice. They beat you. Hongdu burst into tears. I'll never be a father like this again. I'll go find him. He turned around and left. Wait a minute. Wen Yu pulled her into the house and whispered in her ear, I deliberately angered him. I have my own purpose. Girl, is it really him? Wow, there has never been such a cruel father in the world. Hongdu gritted his teeth and couldn't stop the tears from flowing. Although she has never met her father, at this moment, she does feel lucky that such a father would be better than not having one at all. The two of them entered the house, but Hong Xing didn't follow her because she was conscious. She returned to her own house and sneered at the main house. Did she get beaten? Should I feel sorry for my reward? It really went to waste this time. It's okay, it's nothing. If everything goes well, Hongdu, I'll change your name. When you sat down and suddenly remembered something. Girl, what did you say? This turn was too fast, and Hongdu didn't understand it for a moment. I remember sister-in-law Fang said that your mother's surname is Yan, otherwise, you might as well take her mother's surname, just call it, well, Yanzu. Do you like Pearl? I heard that Hongdu's mother's name is Yan Huixin, and she looks like Xiajiabiu. She was pregnant and went home with her husband. The boat capsized in a storm and her husband disappeared. She was rescued by her grandmother and mother's boat. After Yan Huixin recovered, she gave birth to Hongdu. It is said that she got married when her husband was in trouble. After she became pregnant, her husband missed home very much and wanted to give the child in his belly a good background, so he planned to take her back to the capital. His family did not know about his marriage. The affairs between her husband and the family are very complicated, and now that he is gone, even if she goes to look for him, it will not be interesting to see whether they recognize him or not. My parents are gone, and I don't want to disturb my brother and sister-in-law. Therefore, I want to stay with my mother. Yan Hui is gentle and sensible, and is good at making soup. Her mother and she were more like sisters. When they got married, they brought Yan Huixin and Hongdu with them. The Wen family mistakenly thought that the two women were their mother's domestic servants, and the mother did not explain much. Later they all left. Hongdu has been by Wen Yu's side since he was born. Although she is more than a year older than him, she is very straightforward. Now, she is more like her sister. Thinking about Hongdu's past, every stupid idea she had, Hongdu followed her without any regrets, until she died tragically in the end. Alas, she really never enjoyed a single day of happiness. 2 months ago, not only did I give all my jewelry and silver to my uncle, but I also gave Hongdu's. Now, apart from their clothes, they don't even have any decent jewelry. At present, the shadow of the second uncle has not faded. Planning to receive the mother's dowry also requires a large number of manpower. How about restoring Hongdu's identity first, and if things go smoothly outside, let her move out and become a rich lady, so that she won't be disposed of at will by others. Hongdu has a beautiful appearance but a rough heart. Hearing the girl say this, he wiped away his tears and smiled, "That sounds great. Pearl, girl, I am Pearl baby." You are Pearl baby." Thinking of the twinkling look in her eyes when she saw the old lady dye dong pearl hairpin, she couldn't help but smile. "When we get rich, we will buy you dong ju chai." Yanzu squinted her eyes, extremely happy. "Hope everything goes as you wish." Over there, Wen Qian sat alone for a while, then got up and went to find the old lady before his wife came back. The old lady was a little surprised when she saw that her eldest son had a bad look on his face, but is something wrong? "Mother, my son is here and wants to talk about when you," the old lady hummed indifferently. Just now, my son called her over when Qian had never dealt with such a thing before, and he didn't know how to speak. It's like this, the gifts that Sister Huan bought were not to Wen Yu's liking, the two got into an argument. Wen Yu's words were unpleasant, and my son couldn't hold it back for a moment. Wen Qian felt a little embarrassed, but he had to protect Wen Huan. The old lady calmed down and waited for his next words. Gave Wen Yu a slap in the face. The old lady was indeed taken aback. She comes from a daughter's house, why are you so impulsive? Wen Qian turned his head and said nothing. Old Mrs. Wen's face turned foul. For so many years, this girl has done her duty. She has always treated me, my aunt and several sisters with a smile. Even if she was wronged, she tolerated it herself and never caused me any trouble. Trouble? There was no adult ceremony for her, so why did she get into trouble because of a little gift? Wen Qian said nothing. How unpleasant is it that this matter is going to be spread? What is your status now? Why would you attack your daughter? The old lady became angrier as she spoke. Her reputation is ruined, but you are getting better again. Thinking of something, Tiao Menor suddenly went up. Mother, it was my son who acted impulsively. The mother was so excited that it was beyond the man's expectations, so she quickly admitted her mistake seriously. Humph, it's your precious wife and daughter who have done too much. Why don't you cover it up for them? The old lady said with a sneer. Not really, mother. The old lady slapped the table. Are you still protecting them? Wen Qian was stunned. His mother rarely got so angry at him. Wen Yu is your eldest daughter. She is good-looking, hard-working, smiles to everyone, and has a not-to-be-disliked temperament. On weekdays, she does a lot of things for me, but as a grandmother, why do you do that to her? Wen Qian lowered his head and said nothing. Ignore her, don't train her, don't praise her, eat, drink, and dress just fine, say she has a bad fate, never treat her like an eldest daughter, and raise her alive. Why, Wen Qian asked the old lady to ask, and his face turned red. Don't you don't want her to make progress one day? In any case, that was her own granddaughter, and she was so good looking. In any way, the old lady felt bad. How many days can she stay at home at this age? A gift, a matter of a few dollars, but she can do it like this. After so many years, Yuan Zijun, her life, has not been satisfactory enough. I'm really angry, this woman ate her son to death. How much have you done for her? Those things will ruin your son's reputation. The dead old man in the family hates himself and suppresses his son. Since childhood, I have endured the grievances of my parents, studying and taking exams, and looking for jobs. How difficult is it to achieve what you have today? But just for this, a woman is willing to take such a big risk. Even now, I'm still standing up for her. A daughter-in-law does not serve her mother-in-law, but she can follow her husband around. A few days ago, a friend came to my house and said that he met a family of 5, rafting on Chien Lake. As a mother-in-law, I have really worked hard to train him. But until now, I have only worried about him for a lot of time, but I have never received his filial piety. This bitch, you and she, is simply unreasonable. Wen Qian felt uncomfortable listening to his mother's words. When he came back in high spirits, he was embarrassed by his daughter's troubles, mocked and sarcastic by his younger brother, and even scolded by his mother. He really hadn't experienced this in many years, so he said calmly, "Mother, forget it. My son has just told them. Wen Yu's uncle is back, did you know? Her uncle is back." When did it happen? Sure enough, the old lady changed her attention. When you said it? Uncle Chen is back, and he even contacted her. When? How could this happen? The old lady was puzzled, and then thought, even if you come back under the amnesty, you will still have no official position and no property. If a family wants to stand on its own, how can it be done without connections and money? He won't go to you. Find her a girl's house. I contacted this girl without going through myself. This thing is evil. Could it be that? End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 17. Chapter 17, dismiss as you wish. He is suspicious. Old Mrs. Wen was sweating all over. Wen Qian was calm and said without emotion, I don't know yet. My son will pay attention. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. Humph, the old lady felt a little uneasy. Mother, just now when you asked her son for her mother's dowry. What? She wants. Crazy. Crazy. How dare you mention this to you, little girl, the old lady was angry again. Mother. Don't be so excited. Wen Qian comforted her as much as possible. It's so funny, one by one, this is going to turn upside down. Too many things happened recently, which finally aroused the old lady's anger. What do you think I am? My life today did not fall from the sky. Mother, you also know what Wen Yu was like before. There has been such a big change all of a sudden. It must have been her uncle who came back and gave guidance from behind. Are we afraid of him? In the case of amnesty, we are only exempted from punishment, but it does not mean that the Chen family has been wronged. They have no family property, no official position, and even a place to live. Rely on the help of relatives and friends, and then be gentle. It would be great if we can move around a little bit and manage our days. That's right. Wen Qian nodded. But the old lady thought that she was someone who was prepared for a rainy day. You should also pay attention to 1 or 2, and if there are any signs, cut them off as soon as possible. Yes. The old lady couldn't help but blame Yuan again. It was all her fault. What a disaster. Mother, we shouldn't mess around now. As for the dowry, let's just let her do it. Otherwise, it will be more troublesome to be entangled. Originally, our family didn't covet this, Wen Qian said. After things settled down at the dock, life at home became much better. When he was promoted to the capital, his family no longer had to worry about life. The old lady looked at him sideways and said with a sneer, everything in my hand is sealed in the warehouse. I have never touched Mrs. Chen's dowry. What's in your hand? You and your precious wife, did you say it? Wen Qian listened and felt a little helpless. Ajin's natal family is well off, not rich. Then something happened again. When I married myself, the dowry was so small that it was negligible. When she entered the house, I gave her the private house that I had owned for so many years so that she would not be embarrassed. Then she took on a foreign job, had to socialize, and had children. The expenses were too high. Although the family could provide support, it was not as convenient as having money in hand. So he handed over his deceased wife's dowry shop and land to Yuan Zijun. Now that I have finished talking to my mother, I will have to talk to Ajin when I go back. Oh, I am really worried. Wen Qian was a little impatient, but he still had to cover it up for his wife. Most of the income from those properties was used by my son. Ajin is a sensible person, so I will tell her when I get back soon. Just leave it to Wen Yu, son, there are too many things to worry about. Then, do whatever you want. My family is moving to the capital, and I need a lot of money to spend. Mom can't help you with anything, the old lady said coquettishly. Actually, it's not that I can't help at all, but she doesn't want to, so she wants to embarrass Yuan and make her feel uncomfortable. The two of them were stunned for a while. Seeing her eldest son's serious face, the old lady felt a little sorry for him. She's just a little girl, but you can't deal with her? How about, let me do it? There was a hint of sinisterness in her eyes. Mother, it doesn't have to be like this. Wen Qian knew what his mother meant, but it's better for my son to be safe now. Besides, his father is also in trouble. At this time, the old lady had nothing to say. The two of them were in a daze for a while. Just give it to her. It's not a big deal. But, this girl is over 15, and the marriage can't be postponed. What do you think? The old lady asked. Just when I was about to talk to my mother about this, she happened to accept the dowry, so you find a family locally and take care of things after half a year. When you go to the capital, don't take it with you. The old lady was a little embarrassed after hearing this. Wen Yu hasn't gotten engaged yet, will she get married within half a year? She is not the daughter of a small family, how can she be so careless? Time is too tight. It hasn't been decided yet. How can we get married in half a year? Besides, we can't just look for it randomly. If the eldest daughter can't get married, what about the girls below? Mother, let's move to the capital. We are all new people and in a new circle. Who will pay attention to this? Wen Qian asked calmly. Having said that, it is the face of the family after all, sis. Oh, by the way. The wife of Magistrate Zhang really likes that girl. The Zhang family has an unmarried young son. It is said that he is going to work in the government office. Wen Qian knew the Zhang family, and the relationship between the two families had always been good. You don't get to the position of prefect until you are over 40 years old, and the height you go up is also limited. The youngest son of the Zhang family has no fame. The family tradition is good and the two families are close, so there are good reasons for marrying her. Okay. It's him. Please ask mother to settle it. Wen Qian figured it out in an instant, decisively interrupted the old lady and made the decision. Let's stop here, this topic will not be continued. Wen Yu, who was in the house, didn't know that her father and grandmother had already decided her future. The red mark on her face has faded, and she is thinking about receiving her mother's dowry. I must use what I learned from Song Shang in my previous life on this matter. Wen Qian finished talking to his mother and returned to his room. Yuan Shi was waiting in the room. When he saw him coming back, he stood up quickly. You're back. Well, sit down. Yuan Shi smiled bitterly and said, I'm sorry. Huan did too much and made it difficult for you. It's not that serious. Wen Qian smiled. This is my fault. I didn't know she had such an idea before. Haha, she is used to being casual. If you want to blame someone, it should be me. Wen Qian said gently. It's your fault. When I was taking care of her, You always stopped her. Yuan, she said angrily. Wen Qian looked at his wife with a smile. She has never done anything wrong in so many years. How can a little girl be so thoughtful in everything? Once in a while, she becomes even more perfect. Yuan Qi was heartbroken. It seems that he still cares. Alas! This girl is usually very strict with her mouth. If she has any unpleasantness, she won't tell me. I just asked her about her status when Ganking was out socializing. Her identity was deliberately belittled by those little girls. I'm afraid you don't know, the world of girls is such a small one. It takes a long time to talk about every little thing as big as a soybean. Competing with each other is the norm. Haha, those are some petty girls. Our daughter can't be like them. After this incident, she should be more calm. Well, now, there is something I want to discuss with you. He found that this was still it's really hard to open my mouth. Seeing how formal he said it, Yuan's heart sank. You and I are husband and wife, why do you still need to be so polite? Yes, Wen Qian was stunned for a moment, and then said, that's right, that girl is so noisy today because someone is teaching her behind her back. Who? Yuan Zijun's first reaction was the second younger sibling. It's her uncle, he's back from over there. Huh, Yuan was surprised. She had forgotten it after so many years. Well, he didn't come to see me, but he found When he came back, life was probably not going to be easy, so he came up with the idea of Chen's dowry. Huh, Yuan was surprised again, dowry. In one's own hands. He suffered there for more than 10 years and came back penniless. It's normal for him to have this idea. However, he didn't come to me or his mother, and instead he plotted against his nephew and daughter whom he had never met. It's really despising, I guess. So many years, I must be afraid. Then, what do you think? Yuan asked carefully. You clean up the shop and property in your hands and return them to her. Yuan was dumbfounded. End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 18. Chapter 18. Get used to nature. After hearing what her husband said, Yuan felt a sense of sorrow in her heart. Over the years, she has regarded those things as her own. Manage it with care and use it at will. Turns out, it's not. It's so embarrassing to have people chasing after you. The circles in her eyes were hot and tears flowed out. Wen Qian understood, so he wiped her tears carefully and coaxed softly, okay, don't cry. Originally, it wasn't necessary to do this. It's just that when her uncle comes back, he will definitely be involved in this matter. In the next 2 days, my father will be back, and I will go to Beijing again. A variety of factors restrict me from being too strict. I also have some money in my hand, and I will give it all to you. When you go to the capital, you can buy whatever you want. It will be in your name, and I will use your name in the future. Justifiably so. It turns out that the one I took before had an unfair name. Yuan Shi was even more sad. Husband, you know the cause of the matter. At the beginning, I didn't want to take this piece. I know, I asked you to hold it when Qian was very gentle. How much effort did it take for me to take it over, straighten it out, and put it in order? Yuan's eyes were filled with tears and runny nose. She would not have bothered to say this before. But now. I understand, Ajahn, I can see all your busy work and hard work. It's nothing, as a wife, it's my duty to share your worries. Yuan was really excited, her voice was weak. One of the money I earned was used for socializing during your appointment. Also, I am with you. My colleague's wife is interacting with the girls, you are too fond of us Huan. Her clothes, use, hiring a master, buying a piano, all the money is gone like water. Now let me hand it over. Just thinking about it makes me panic and feel distressed. It's just an inheritance, but where can I get the money? Wen Qian patted her and comforted her. I understand. You sort it out first and give it to me. I will have a good idea first and know how to talk to her. Yuan was stunned for a long time, but her husband did not change his words. Knowing that the situation was over, I could only nod in agreement. There are some things that just haven't fallen down. It feels like you are used to holding it in your hands, but you have to lose it again. Those arrangements she made after going to the capital, those grand plans and prospects. All in vain? Yuanqi lowered her eyes, hiding her hatred. This dead girl, I thought I was going to get rid of her completely, but I didn't expect to be waiting for me here. Why weren't she allowed to go with the Chen Tongyun in the first place? When you lists the steps to harvest the property and details in all aspects. Tapping her fingers on the table, she thought, the biggest problem at the moment is, she has no one. This is not just gold, silver, and jewelry. Just take it back and put it in a box and lock it. Forget about running those fields and shops. Even if it is rented out, a grown-up girl cannot come to collect the rent. Although how to operate, I learned it all from Song Shang in the previous life. But Song Shang has several teams. He is only responsible for making decisions, and there are people to do everything. When the eldest brother gets married, he will be able to see him. Can he do this favor for me first? Turning his head, he glanced at the red coral hairpin brocade box placed in the corner. Alas, he sighed, in the last life, I didn't even know why he liked me. This set of red coral jewelry has been with her in her last life. Every time I wear it, people around me will be shocked. The price is high, and the key is that it is extremely rare. This time he sent it again, with the same thought. It's just that I suffered enough in my previous life, so I won't mess around with him anymore in this life. But the matter requires his help. How can we achieve the goal? Zuzu, we are short of people. Zuzu can do it for you. Yanzu, whose name has been changed, is busy with work. She doesn't like to use her brain the most, but she is very handy. How come you are so busy? You need a lot of people. Those who manage the fields, those who run the shops, those who collect rent, and those who manage the treasury. It turns out that the people they used cannot be trusted even if they are not withdrawn. And next, I still need to go out. When I go out, I need a car and a driver. I need a reliable person to protect me. Hong Xing I can't do it from now on. I'm not going to let you do this anymore, there are more important things. Yan Zhu's eyes turned around in a gibbering manner. We need so many people, girl, Zuzu, please recommend one first. Xiaoji's family. Xiaoji, a short and fat man, appeared in front of Wen Yu. Yes, Xiaoji has a father and mother, 2 older brothers, an older sister, and a younger brother. They are all quite capable. Moreover, her brothers are all good looking. Her sister is also okay, but Xiaoji is ugly. Giggles. Yanzu laughed mindlessly. When you also smiled, Zuzu knew how to judge people by their appearance. I heard that Xiaoji's mother was attracted by the chief steward's son because of her good looks. But she didn't want to, so she liked Xiaoji's father. Later, the chief steward's son took over his father's affairs and would definitely squeeze Xiaoji. One family. Xiaoji's 2 older brothers are tall and have white teeth. They are both very clean. I can read and do things well, but I'm just not popular. What pain makes them do? Originally, Xiaoji's family also saved some money, thinking that if it didn't work out, they would redeem themselves and go out, but, I don't know if someone is causing mischief, and if they save some money, they will miss out. I can't get out. As for Xiaoji, even though he is ugly, he is also quite dexterous. There is no one in this family that she is not familiar with. What she wants most is to be a big girl in front of girls. But no one wants her like that. Tisk tisk. Yanzu said with joy. Girl, tell me how she looks. She is short and fat, and her calves are short. But when she walks very fast, rolling like a ball, ha 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 ha. When you also smiled, do you make fun of her like this in front of her face? Yes, Zuzu said matter-of-factly. But she's not annoyed either. Actually, I'm pretty good to her. I give her plenty of food. I even gave her a silver hairpin. I thought the cotton cloth you gave me last time was too ugly, so I gave it to her. It was a pleasure for her to take it home and make clothes for her brother. When you thought. Yizuzu sees that her family is being oppressed by others and has no future at all. Why don't you just bring them all over? I heard that her father can write and settle accounts. How great. Okay, listen to our Zuzu. Hey, girl, don't pamper Zuzu so much, Zuzu will become complacent. She raised her head and said proudly with her little black face. While the two were talking, Hong Xin came back from outside. Today, no one is looking for the eldest wife. She was in a hurry, and her face didn't look good. As soon as she came in, Chunyui, the eldest girl in the third girl's gentle house, came over and asked, "Is the eldest girl in the house?" Hong Xin said quickly, "Sister Chunyui, our girl is in the house." Chunyui came in and bowed politely when he saw Wenyu. Wenyu looked at the things on the table and asked casually, "Is there something wrong?" "Miss, our girl said she wants to eat sweet scented Osman thus cake. I'll give you some time to make some in these 2 days." "No time." Chunyui didn't realize what Wenyu was saying, but said to himself, "The girl said that the last episode showed chestnut noodles, ah. What did you say?" "No time," she finally realized. "Well, I don't feel like eating lately, so I won't do it." "But..." Chunyui was actually unhappy, "but our girl wants to eat it." "If you girls want to eat, just make it." Yanzu rushed over, "Whatever our girls want to eat, I will make it right away." She looked down upon Chunyui arrogantly. Chunyui has never experienced this. She looked at the master and servant curiously, rolled her eyes and said, "Okay. That's it? Then come back with our girl." She gave a silly salute, turned around and left. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 19. Chapter 19 Unexpected. Chunyui returned to his room and told his daughter what happened in Wenyu courtyard. Wen Jiao was stunned when she heard this. "Is this what Wenyu said? That's great. What is she going to do?" She stood up immediately. "I'll go and ask myself." The girl Chiu Shui quickly stopped her and said, "Girl, wait a minute." Wen Jiao glanced at her, "What are you doing?" "Girl, the eldest lady, just thinks that the eldest master has come back and has a backbone, and wants to be tough. In the past few days, why do you need to meet her?" "Ha! The uncle is back, but what does it have to do with her?" Wen Jiao had long known the position of Wenyu in the uncle's heart. "Girl, no matter what, you must give face to the eldest man and the eldest lady. If there is a trouble now, the eldest man and the eldest lady. Don't worry. Then they won't go after her," Wen Jiao said proudly. "No. But why should you? When you go to the capital, you have to rely on the eldest man and his wife for many things. The appearance depends on the eldest man, and the communication depends on the eldest wife." "Haha, how do you know that when I make a fuss, it's not to help my aunt?" To please her, Wen Jiao had a mean smile on her face. "What I mean is that we don't cause any trouble before our eldest brother gets married anyway. The eldest brother left in just 2 days. We are together for a long time. When can we deal with her?" "Huh, that's all." My eldest brother is going to get married, so I will bear with her first. After turning around, the old lady asks someone to call Wen Qian over to talk to Wen Yu. Yuan's things haven't been sorted out yet, so we don't know what's going on. Let's talk now. What should we say? Wen Qian was a little embarrassed. It's just that the old lady said that guests will start coming to the house soon, and some things should be explained clearly before the old man comes back. Wen Qian thought for a moment, the same is true. Let's talk about it like this. As for these industries, hey, if I can't win over her as a little girl, how can I have the dignity to be an official in the capital? So he was dressed in light-colored silk and linen clothes, holding a folding fan, and walked slowly to his mother's room. Being called to talk by two heads of family was something that had never happened before in this world. Wen Yu calmed down and sat there generously. The old lady and Wen Qian, looking at the beautiful and dignified Wen Yu in front of them, had mixed feelings in their hearts. It feels like things that have been left behind many years ago are coming to us again in a roundabout way. The old lady has also forgotten about the dead former eldest daughter-in-law. What is certain is that she is definitely not as good-looking as Wen Yu. The vague impression is that he is respectful and gentle, a little naive, and he seems to have no ability at first glance. As for the gentle words in front of her, she did not show any disrespect or alienation. But, there is a feeling that it is far, far away from you. This calm and indifferent look is a bit like my eldest son, things in the bones and blood are present at birth, and they are not nurtured. If it weren't for a bunch of chaos, I would have to give her such a good-looking eldest grandson a good future, and the Wen family would also benefit greatly. Sigh, the old lady sighed inwardly, calmed herself down, showed a little smile, and asked kindly, I heard from your father that your uncle is back. Yes, Grandma. Wen Yu nodded lightly. So, the Chen family is fine. Returned with amnesty, it's okay. Oh, is everyone at home safe? The old lady's attitude was so good that Wen Yu was a little confused. Grandma Lao asked, I suffered a lot, but everything is fine. Oh, it's a blessing to be able to come back safely. The old lady sighed with emotion as she thought about the past. Wen Yu, for so many years, the family has not contacted your uncle and has not been able to help. It is really something involving the Chen family. Too complex and too dangerous. Our family is a big family and we can't tolerate any mistakes. Your father told your grandmother several times that he wanted to send messages, money, and connections, but she stopped him every time. Your uncle must blame the Wen family. Grandma, my uncle told his granddaughter, the troubles in the Chen family have nothing to do with the Wen family. How can they be blamed? It is human nature to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. As you said, there are dozens of people in the Wen family. We can't take risks. Uncle, he understands. Wen Yu's eyes were red, moved and sincere. Who doesn't know how to pretend? Having said that, when he came back, he didn't go to look for your grandfather and your father, nor did he come to look for your grandmother. Instead, he contacted you. It seems that the Wen family is still to blame. The old lady smiled bitterly. Grandma, my uncle really didn't blame the Wen family for this matter. It's just that, my uncle said that my father welcomed new people into the house before my mother's body was cold. Which brother in the world can still interact with decent in-laws? Wen Qian scolded with a stern face. Wen Yu remained silent, but did not admit his mistake. Wen Qian said coldly, I dare to take responsibility for this matter. When your mother came in, your grandmother and I did not treat her badly. She died in childbirth when she gave birth to you, but those who are alive will have to live their lives. Our family has also experienced turmoil and life has been very difficult. Even now, privately, it is not as peaceful and prosperous as others think. The family needs to be stable. I want to study and find a job, and I want to continue my family life.
How can I have the time to mourn the spring and autumn and keep filial piety to my wife? Your mother knew her father's temperament before she got married. So, you and your uncle, it's better to save it. Don't look for me anywhere. He is really righteous in his words. If I didn't know the details, I would really believe you. When you desperately suppress the anger aroused. He has done something ugly and yet he can make up such a majestic excuse. He is so shameless. Father, it's not necessary for you to be so excited when this matter is mentioned. You feel that your idea is right, but my uncle feels that his idea is right. Everyone's interests and feelings are different. Wen Qian still wanted to say something, but the old lady raised her hand and said, "Okay. How did you meet your uncle?" She brought the topic back. "My granddaughter went to a Fang's house as a guest, and my uncle found me there." "What did I tell you? I only talked about their life there and their future plans when they came back. They were in a really difficult situation. My granddaughter gave all the jewelry and silver she had to her uncle, and took the initiative to mention her mother's dowry to her uncle." "Then why didn't you tell grandma?" When you lowered his head and said nothing. This matter is not a trivial matter. How can you, a daughter of yours, just go to see him and make a decision? Grandma. The old lady raised her hand. If this matter is told, everyone will think it is the Chen family's rudeness. What did you agree to? If my grandmother and father don't agree, it won't happen. At this point, even if the lawsuit goes to the capital, the Wen family is right. The old lady was very serious. Yes, Grandma, when you had no choice but to lower his head, my granddaughter did something inappropriate in this matter. But, Grandma, the granddaughter also told her father yesterday. Logically speaking, the uncle can ask for the return of mother's dowry. Go to part of it. That is also the result of mutual negotiation between the two adults. We, the Wen family, will not embezzle the dowry of our daughter-in-law. But there is no such thing in the world for a girl's family to handle this matter, said the old lady. This is true. When you played the tragedy card, her eyes turned red and she shed tears. The Chen family suffered a disaster, and my mother died. My uncle was demoted thousands of miles away and suffered so much. He has suffered so much. If he can bring his family back, my uncle was exhausted. Grandma, you haven't seen him before. His back is so painful that he can't even straighten up. He looks like he is 2 generations older than his father. When she saw her uncle, she felt sad. Prepared, but still shocked. At this moment, she didn't feel very sad, but tears welled up involuntarily. At this time, let your uncle come and tell you and your father this. My granddaughter really feels sorry for him. So, even though it was inappropriate, my granddaughter did it. I just hope he can be raised and he won't. The old lady was a little surprised that this girl could have such feelings for her poor uncle whom she had never met, alas. I felt a little sour in my heart. Wen Qian looked at her silently and said nothing. Come on, let's not talk about that. If the Chen family is innocent, the Wen family can help your uncle. Grandma set the tone. For job and academic matters, go to your father. For accommodation, money, and people, Grandma is here. Everything can be arranged. You can tell your uncle that although your mother is gone, we still have you. We are family members and there is no need to see anyone outside. Wen Yu was even more surprised. Also, I have the impression that you have a cousin. If your aunt is willing, she can send her cousins and nieces over. Raising her in the Wen family for a while will give you several advantages as your sisters. They are over, their life is difficult, and it is not easy to educate them. Our family has a nun to teach them, and it will only be good for their future. Grandma was so enthusiastic and pragmatic, when you didn't know how to reply for a moment, so she only said carefully, it's really difficult for uncle to come back. It's just that he went to join a friend and is not here. The old lady glanced at her eldest son. Oh, that's it?
How can living under someone else's roof be a long-term solution? Your uncle, if you really don't want to trouble our family, after receiving your mother's dowry, you are willing to help them. That is your filial piety. Grandma and your grandfather, no one will stop it? Is this settled? Wen Qian was also a little surprised and glanced at his mother. It's just that everything is done in moderation. Relatives only help when they are anxious. The future path depends on themselves. The old lady was sincere and sensible. Yes, Grandma is far-sighted. My granddaughter has learned a lesson. When you replied. Boss, take a look at these lists. Go back and get things ready quickly. The old lady handed the list handed over by Wen Yu to her son. End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 20. Chapter 20. Let's see. Wen Qian picked up the letter and looked at it carefully. This is a description and list of Chen's dowry. He couldn't help but snort in his heart. Even though he was demoted thousands of miles away, he still kept these things. When you saw his father looking at him seriously, but felt sad and ridiculous in his heart. This man is well educated, has a stable official career, and has known how to protect his mother since he was a child. It is said that he is a very decent person. But he actually did these shameless and vicious things for a woman. Old Mrs. Wen simply regarded Wen Yu as a serious talker. Your mother's dowry is divided into two parts. Grandma has some here, and your father has some in her hands. What Grandma has in her hands are all objects. Ornaments, jewelry, cloth, medicinal materials, etc. are kept untouched in the warehouse. It's just that over the past few years, some things have been damaged by weathering. I'll leave it all to you after your eldest brother's wedding. When the time comes, take stock of your inventory. If anything is lost or damaged, just tell Grandma and she will replace it. Grandma's kindness is accepted by my granddaughter. It's just that over time, part of the loss and damage are reasonable. Even if the mother takes care of it herself, it is unavoidable. Whatever is revealed is what it is, and the granddaughter will not. I'll say a little more. She cares about property, but what she cares more about is her mother's rights. It's a slap in their face. The old lady glanced at her eldest son. She said that he was not hungry or cold. But for her to be able to say these words, she has the backbone and courage, and she actually looks a bit like herself. If when you knew it, he would definitely, bah. I don't look like that. What your father holds is a shop and a field. You live in a girl's house, and your uncle is not here. What are you going to do when you take over? Grandma, my granddaughter plans to take care of the property herself, so next, we need to add more people and make it easier to go out. The old lady was also confused. You are so stupid and bold, girl, can this be easy to do? You know how to look after accounts and manage people. I know it more or less, and my granddaughter will learn it carefully. When you said calmly. The old lady didn't believe it at all. However, she thinks this is not important, leave it to her first. As for the manpower, the original manpower depends on whether your father has other arrangements. If it is not enough, let your second uncle and second aunt provide some. Even if it is not enough, you can also buy or invite some. We are going out now. After the arrangements are made, Grandma can also do it. Yes. It's strange that the old lady could agree to so many things that were against the rules so calmly, with such gentle words, and it felt smooth at the same time. However, let's take one step and talk about it first. Grandma, my granddaughter is thinking about handing over the nuclear birth first. At the same time, adding more people. With the manpower, the granddaughter can arrange things at home. Even if she goes out occasionally, she will be safe with a carriage and escort. Father. The people in the shop don't know if my father has any other arrangements. The human hands will not be moved for the time being. However, many of them have been carefully trained by my wife. In the future, there will definitely be other uses. When Qian looked at the paper and said, Wen Yu nodded, since my wife has carefully trained her, it is not easy to keep too many daughters. You can give your daughter a list. If you are short of manpower and can't open it, it doesn't matter if you close it first. So don't even think about using human hands to hold me. Grandma, my granddaughter needs a house in the front yard. If you meet the stewards outside, you can't let them enter the inner yard. When the old lady saw it, she thought of a lot, and said with a smile, "Look," she looked at her eldest son with a smile, "this girl's courage, if she were a man, our family would have nothing to worry about." Wen Qian didn't answer. He finished reading the list and said, "This list is generally correct. However, the property in my hands has also undergone some changes in the past 10 years. I am busy in my job and I can't take care of it. There are also losses and annihilation. I am anxious. I will leave it to you after your eldest brother's wedding. If there's anything wrong, let's talk about it later when your uncle is here." The old lady wanted to help her son make ends meet no matter what. In managing the property, there are losses and gains. Your father's first priority is official business, and these are just things that happen casually. So, when you don't have your expectations too high. When you nodded, my granddaughter understands these principles. Furthermore, raising a granddaughter requires a considerable amount of money for the family. My mother's dowry is used to raise her daughter, so it should be right. After hearing this, the two heads of family looked at her and really didn't know how to react. "It's just, Father," when you added, "these properties must be accounted for. You cannot default on debts, including money and goods owed to others, as well as money and dividends owed to people who help manage the property. Things are half done. People and property must be left behind. If there is a loss, the money must be made up, and taxes cannot be owed. If the store is rented out, the daughter does not need to pay back the previous rent. However, the rent collected in advance belongs to the future, and the money will still be returned. User fees must be based on the previous standards and cannot be changed temporarily." The old lady and Wen Qian were both a little surprised. What she said was true. Was it taught by her uncle? Shouldn't it? How can this be taught in a short time? The old lady nodded and smiled, "Don't worry. Grandma will make the decision for you. But, as a girl, it is extremely risky to do this. It will not only affect your own reputation and safety, but even your sister's. If something goes wrong, unexpectedly, your uncle asked me and your father. How can we answer?" Wen Qian paused mentally, but showed no abnormal behavior. "Grandma, don't worry, my uncle has made it very clear he will accept whatever the granddaughter is like." "That's good. The thing you asked for is too special, and Grandma and your father have to be careful. Let's make this decision for the time being, but don't talk about it outside. In the past 2 days, write down the people you want. If they are at home, let your second aunt help arrange them. Outside, Grandma and your second aunt both know reliable middlemen, and they are very cheap to buy or hire." Things went unexpectedly smoothly, which made Wen Yu a little excited. After everything was settled, Wen Yu bowed and left, waiting for her to go out. Wen Qian looked at her back and said nothing. The old lady's smile disappeared and her face became gloomy. He is a child after all. What has he seen? Think your wings are stiff? Have you got a backer? If you dare to do this in front of me, then just wait and see." After Wen Yu returned to the house and was with Yanzu, she did not hide anything and told Yanzu in detail what had just happened. Yanzu listened seriously, blinked, and was a little confused. Wen Yu asked, "What's wrong?" "Zuzu is curious, why is it so easy? If they are really good to the girl, why haven't they treated her well for so many years? But if they are not good to the girl, how can such a large amount of property be returned just as they say? Smile warmly. Girl, it's really strange. Even if you said it, the Wen family's life has been better in recent years,
but who cares about having too much money? In addition to the clothes and jewelry that the family has, what have they given you in these years? And you still ask them. It's not like they gave it to me on their own initiative. My good Zuzu, you are so smart. When you hugged her. Although Yanzu is still older than her, as someone who has lived 2 lives, she regards her as her sister. Zuzu is not smart, but he is good looking, Yanzu said proudly. It doesn't matter, just take the first step. Then, the soldiers will come to block it, and the water will come to cover it. Okay, Zuzu is with you, let's just wait and see. End of this chapter.